Podcast, Brews and Banner Podcast. What up? Welcome to Brews and Banner Podcast. I'm your host, Barb G. And with me, as always, is the legendary Brew Crew. What up, fellas?
I got water, I got, juice or whatever. He's like, got any twin legs? Matter of fact, I do.
My question to everybody is, does Delaware have an actual culture? This is the podcast that we talk about beer, but we also talk about a lot of things that's happening in the world, politics, movies, anything really that comes to our mind while we're here sampling these brews. Grab a drink and pull up a chair.
Yeah, I know. It's been a minute.
Just look over your shoulders, honey. Just look over your shoulders. Just look over your shoulders, honey. I wrote my first bars in the car with Stacy.
Just look over your shoulders, honey. I'm actually not mad at Busta's new album.
Yeah, what's crazy? Me neither. I thought I was going to be, because how when the old heads come back out, it's like, you like, I'm only listening because I liked you back in the day.
Right, exactly. What up? Welcome to Brews and Biden Podcast.
Bruised and Biden.
I'm just kidding. It is still Brews and Banner Podcast, and I'm your host, Rob G. And with me, as always, the legendary Brew Crew, minus Lou. How you doing, fellas?
I'm doing a roll today.
Hi.
What's up, Rob G?
I'm stupid.
This is episode 96 of Brews and Banter Podcast, and it is volume 27 of our social distancing series. So we do have two remarkable guests today. First, we have Barb Baker, VP and editor of Fermanta, Midwest and event ambassador of Brooklyn Brewery, and TV personality.
Nice.
And if you're on IG, SirenofStout. Welcome to the podcast.
Welcome.
Hello. That was way too much. That was like way too much you just did.
Yeah, her flowers, right? The credentials are running off the screen.
Yeah, you did good though. You did good.
I like it.
But you did good.
She worked hard.
We also have Shannon Harris. If you don't know, he is the owner and brewer of Urban Jungle Brewing out of is it Austin? Is it Austin?
Austin, Texas. Yes.
And if you're on IG, it is TheBrewBrotha. So welcome to the podcast.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
What you got on there? Make America Great Again hat? Wait a minute.
We're gonna make them racists catch that fade again.
There it is. There it is.
Baby.
Just saying, I'm in Texas, so
Yeah, that is
popping off down there.
Exactly. I let them know. Don't even approach me with the
Don't
bullshit.
even approach me with it. I'm letting you know right now. It ain't gonna be happy for you.
Yeah. No happy ending.
No, we don't know, Dev. I don't know where you were going with that, but all right.
No, I didn't want to make a racist comment, so I just
Okay.
you know how to finish.
But when you speak happy endings, you can't be just saying that just out of nowhere. No happy endings, you gotta be careful sometimes.
All right. Like I said, this is episode 96. So before we get into everything, we always need to know what people are drinking. So what is everybody drinking today? We always start with our guests. So Barb, what are you drinking today? Oh,
I am drinking. I have been collecting these, and I keep saving them for a special occasion. And this, gentleman, is a special occasion.
Oh,
so I pulled this out, and this was brewed by The Answer Brew Pub in Richmond, Virginia.
Oh, nice.
And this was sent to me. Thanks, T, for sending this to me. She is Beer and Body in Maryland on Instagram.
Okay.
So she sent me a couple of these.
Okay.
So thank you. And that's what I'm drinking.
Nice.
All right. I
actually really enjoyed that one since I had a helping hand in that particular version of Black.
Oh,
you can see my logo is right on the back.
It sure did.
Look at that. Look at that. That is like, wow, you couldn't have set this up any better. Man, this
Get out of my mind.
Yeah, is that just the regular recipe, or is there anything added into it?
We did the base recipe of the stout. We also added coffee, cocoa nibs, 14 karat gold edible glitter as well inside of it.
Oh, y'all got rich on these niggas. Yeah.
Look at her. She looking. She
Barb. You swirl the can
for that gold.
Got to swirl the can a little bit.
Yeah, I wish I'd have known that. I could have rolled it before I opened it.
And then all of that glitter is going to come out when you pour it now.
It doesn't say anything about glitter.
It's on the can. Glitter.
There are sparkles in here.
There it is.
I love it.
That's what's up. And Shannon, what are you drinking today?
I am drinking the double dry hop Fort Point from Trillium Brewing out of Boston, Massachusetts. It's hands down my favorite pale ale in the craft beer game right now. So happy to be drinking this one for sure.
Nice.
That's what's up.
Yeah,
what you drinking?
Yeah. I am drinking a hazy pale ale, Living Free, by Sun Lab. They're out of Miami, Florida, coming in at a 4.5 IPA. That's below my threshold, guys. That's why the womp womp. I like the womp. But very, very delicious beer, and the pour is, as you can see, the color is very, very hazy, but delicious, packed with a lot of fruit, citra in there. So pass me another.
And what you drinking?
So what I got is Hold the Spoon black chocolate cake bow. This is from the brewery.
Okay.
Out of where they from? I forgot that fast, man. I'll be struggling out here.
One's in California.
Yeah,
right?
California. It is. This is the one from California. Yeah, Placentia, California. I guess that's how you say that. It almost sounds like placenta, but you know. But this is Imperial Milk Stout, and they got cocoa nibs and some cocoa powder with salt and vanilla, and it's a 8.5. I'm gonna let this sit here for a little bit because say you're supposed to drink it at 55 degrees. You know, it's that stout.
Let it warm up.
Yeah,
Right,
but I did. Sip, I mean, I ain't gonna say I sipped it because I drank most of it, but I'm gonna let it sit for a little bit. but yo, you can't taste
drink
like that.
Drink now, read label later.
Yeah. It's real chocolatey though. It is chocolatey, and it does have a little bit of salty flavor to it. You can taste that salt in there, but it's good. It's definitely good. I would say pass me another on that too. It is. It's pretty good.
And Rob, stay bruising. What are you drinking?
Yeah, what you drinking, man?
It's still Rob.
I'm calling you. I'm calling you.
Well, guess what, nigga? We ain't never calling you Devin Aaron the Great.
You call me every day since episode 2 years ago. You still haven't got over that name.
Okay, you just kind of just said. I'm glad you asked. I am drinking from Iron Hill Brewery. I'm getting the holiday season started early. It's called the Reindeer's Revenge. It is an American triple. It is a hop twist on a Belgian triple, and it's ale roast with strong notes of pine, grapefruit, and a touch of bitterness. It is a slight bitterness. It's a nice golden color right there in my black beer culture glass, black brew culture glass. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It does have a slight piney smell to it, but it doesn't really taste super bitter. It's actually sweeter than I thought it would be. So I also shout out to one of the local breweries here, Iron Hill Brewer out of Wilmington, Delaware. Speaking of Wilmington, Delaware, no, I'm just joking.
We was at Ground Zero last night.
Yeah, speaking of Iron Hill Brewery, right there, we went.
Yeah,
I didn't go.
Speaking of Iron Hill Brewery, that was the that riverfront was the location of history-making events that happened last night.
Yep.
Yes, it was.
I mean, Joe Biden, he won the president, but we do got to shout out the first woman vice president elect, Kamala Harris.
Yes. You're right. Got to. It's only right.
Definitely.
It's only right.
Yeah,
I lit off fireworks last night. Is
did?
that ghetto? Is that a little bit? That's a little ghetto.
No, I think a lot. Well, they did
No, everybody
fireworks.
was.
They did fireworks there.
Well, I mean, I didn't care. I mean, they weren't gonna say nothing to me out here, but you know, except
They
for the
had
guy across the street.
They had fireworks, and they had drones. That was the thing that was spelling. That were drones that were spelling the names and stuff.
That was spelling the names. Okay,
Yeah.
I was wondering how they did that because it looked like fireworks. I'm like, how they do that?
I was like, it was just synchronized drones. I was like, yo, that's a lot of synchronization.
Well, man, thanks for saving, man. Because listen, it was going through my head, and I saw the picture of it this morning. I'm like, I still don't get how they did that. Thanks her up.
Yeah. Oh, you're welcome. That's probably how they waited till it was nighttime to do the talk, the speech, so they can make sure they had a nice background for it. All right. But it is episode 96, and we do have two great guests that we want to get into. So without further ado, we want to introduce again Barb to the podcast. If you want IG, SirenofStout. So welcome again to the podcast. And we always like to know how you got started in the craft beer and all that good stuff. So the floor is yours.
The floor.
The air is yours.
Well, the short version of how I got started, at least drinking beer, was in college, my sophomore year. And I was at a party, somebody handed me a Heineken, and I was like, this is pretty delicious. But it was delicious for a number of reasons, because it was free, there were boys there, so that always makes any liquor
free.
So that, and it was, I had a great time. It was a great party, I had a great time, and that was sort of my introduction to beer. And although I fell off a little bit in between because I was a college athlete, I was a fitness competitor after college, and you can't drink a lot at all. Once I moved to Michigan, or even just being in Michigan, I sort of got the passion up again because I started hitting the breweries. Once I was kind of done with that chapter of being a competitive athlete. You go to we have great breweries here in Michigan, and they have good food and everybody is the camaraderie around beer is what I really like. You go in, you sit down, people will just start talking to you.
Yep.
I mean, you guys, I run my mouth anyway. So
yeah,
when I sit down, I start talking to people and they start talking to me. So I really love that whole thing. And so that's what got me back into it. And then being here, I became passionate because I started surrounding myself with women who were also very passionate about beer. And they kept sort of pushing me. There's a Cicerone here. She's a master Cicerone, master sake, certified woman. And I think she's the first. Was she the first in America? I don't. But she's a buddy of mine, and she actually has been sort of the person pushing me to keep going further in beer. And she's really, really awesome. So that's kind of how I started. I probably started like everybody else in college. I drank a little. Fell off, got back into it being in Michigan because we have such a great beer culture here. And I'm not getting bored with it. I'm a Gemini, so I get bored with a lot of things. And I have not gotten bored with beer. I haven't gotten bored with the community. I love it. And I just want to stay in it and just keep doing more things in it.
So what was the first brewery that you went to in Michigan when you got to Michigan?
Wow, that's a long time ago. The first brewery was probably, I know what one I went to, and I don't want to mention that one because I don't like their beer.
That's going to be my next question. Well, since I thought you didn't remember it, so I was going to say, hey, you must didn't like the beer.
Yeah, I thought about it because it's around where I live. So I was like, when I first got into it, I thought it was good. But when you start you start drinking more, you start tasting more, better beer, then your palate changes and you start realizing what's good and what isn't good.
Right. That's like you thought Heineken was good at first, and now Heineken is probably the lowest on your list.
Well, yeah. In my head, I remember it being crisp and refreshing, and it was cold, and it was great, and there were
boys.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. People were hitting on me, and they were saying, "We're so glad you're here," and I'm like, "Oh, great!" So, you want another? Oh, it's free, great. So that's what I remember with that. But I will say the first one I really remember is Bell's Brewery. Bell's Brewery, and where are they at? Ypsilanti. But their beer is so great. Like Larry Bell is his passion is stouts. My passion is stouts. So I've been there a couple times. I've been on their tours, and I understand why I love their stouts and their beer so much, because he has the same passion for the type of beer style that I have. Right. So that's one of the first ones I went to that I remember and loved, and I have on my beer cellar a ton of Bell's stuff because they're great.
Now you're the VP and editor of Fermanta. Now, what exactly is Fermanta?
Fermanta is a women's craft collective. So what we do is we embrace all women who are in the fermentation industry. So whether you do kombucha, sauerkraut, kefir, yogurt, beer, liquor, any of that. Yeah, anything that's fermented, we want to embrace you. And we were the first woman-led group to do that. I know Pink Boots now does that. They just started that maybe a month ago, but they used to only do beer and beer. But we embrace all women, embrace even people that aren't necessarily in the industry. There are people that love beer and they want to fellowship with other beer women, but they don't work in the industry. Right, we want them to join our group too. And we also give out scholarships. We give out books. We give out scholarships to trade events, festivals, just anything that's going on. We want to help support, help educate, and really just be that foundation for women who get in it. And they're like, I feel like I'm the only one. You're not the only one. And what I do as the Siren of Stout, being the Black woman in that industry, is I go out like a crazy person and I slide to people's DMs and I'm like, hey, I saw you had a bad experience at a brewery. What's going on? Let me know. You said that you are studying for your certified beer server. Sign up for a scholarship. You can win some books, I don't have any control over them winning because I'm not part of the scholarship committee, but I'm letting them know that it's out there. Yeah, there's a lot of money out there that people have no idea that's there. So I'm trying to let them know that they do have support. They do have women out here that have already been through what they've been through, who are forging that way. And it's like, let's go.
Right.
So you don't have to, it doesn't have to be hard for you. I basically want it to be easier for other women, Black women, and people of color to get in the industry. So that's what we do with Fermenta, is we just help support and educate and want people to be their best selves in the fermentation industry.
Awesome. All right. That's what's up.
That's dope.
All right. Well, I thank for that, and we're going to come back because I'm sure people will have more questions. But we want to get into our other guests as well, and get a little bit more of his background. So, Shannon, the floor is yours.
Oh, I appreciate that. I don't know how I'm even top any of that. I mean,
I know we ain't even get down to the
tell your story, bro.
Part, man. I mean, good luck.
Making major moves, man. Congrats and salute to you and everything you're doing, Barb. I love it.
Thank you.
My name is Shannon Harris. To kind of give a little background, I got into craft beer probably about 2020, about 7 years ago, back in like 2014. It actually started off really crazy. I was actually at a Yelp event, the restaurant rating app Yelp. This was back when I lived in Los Angeles, California, and I was at an event that Yelp was hosting, and it was a craft beer forward event. And I'm used to drinking my MGDs, my Coors Light, my Budweiser. Like, I don't drink all that fancy hipster beer. I don't drink none of that. So I'm over there complaining, like, this thing too bitter. It tastes like a handful of coins. Like drinking Stone IPA. And, they were like, so try this Guinness. And I'm like, why is the beer so flat? Like, it ain't even got no carbonation to it, not knowing what nitro beers really were. And then a buddy of mine who's a really good friend of mine now actually overheard me that night. We met that night. And he's like, hey, man, I overheard you, kind of basically crying about the beer selection that's here. He's like, you don't drink craft beer at all? And I was like, man, no, I don't drink any of that stuff. And I mean, now that I think about it, like he probably could have like Dextered my ass, but he was like, "Hey, come over to my house right now. I actually live across the street." Like that's some Jeffrey Dahmer shit right there.
and you was like, "All right, yeah."
Yeah, and I'm like, "Cool, let me go over to strange white man's house."
That doesn't happen in the movies. You know that, Shannon. We always run the other way.
Always run. I'm breaking black hole number 1 in a scary movie. You know? Right. No, but he ended up taking me to his crib, and we drank like 20 beers that night. That was my very first like bottle share, I guess.
Yo, and he got you drunk. Oh man, boy.
We're drinking everything from blonde ales all the way up to stout. You know what? Now that I'm thinking about this, hey man,
bad move, man.
Yeah. He got you real comfortable.
Like got me real comfortable. Like just take one more sip.
Nah, but his knives.
Yeah.
Like what other kind you want to taste? You hungry? Because I am.
Well, I'll play that well. I ended up becoming a craft beer connoisseur ever since that night. And actually, he was the one who actually gave me the moniker the Brew Brother that night. Because it's like, oh, you cool and everything. And he was straight up like, I don't really got that many black friends, all that. Like, you're my Brew Brother now. And I'm like, okay,
there are so many red flags in this story.
Yeah. And then it was actually him who encouraged me to like, you should create an Instagram and, kind of document your journey in craft beer. And from there, the shit kind of blew up. I guess like now, if you go back to like my old IG, like when I was way back, like I was drinking like just grocery store available craft beers. Yeah. And then I kind of just really started evolving in like actually going to breweries and just going out to meet people. And honestly, being a person of color in a industry that's not really focused for minorities, I had to get over that comfort zone or uncomfortable zone of like, every time I go to a brewery, I'm the only black person there. And every time I go to a beer festival, I'm the only black person there. And I just kind of ran with that and took my own moves to just kind of be like, you know what, I'm going to advocate for this now. Like, what was taught to me of how to get introduced to craft beer, I need to do that with other brothers and sisters that I know, especially like my family members, because if I'm going to go out there and be at these breweries, like they got to know where I'm at and where to find me. Especially if I'm inebriated and all that. So, yeah. And then from there, man, I just kind of got into the game of just like really appreciating craft beer, that I wanted to appreciate it on another level of like, how do you make craft beer? Like to really understand like, how does these malts blend together with water and hops and yeast to make these different styles of beer that I love so much. So then that's when I started participating, like volunteering and helping out at breweries, just to kind of pick up a little bit of game and figure out, why do I appreciate this so much, but how does this all work? And then that's when I got that passion of like, you know what, I want to start brewing these beers at home and experimenting a little bit more on a smaller scale. If it's trash, I throw it away. If it's good, I'm drinking it all day. And then I just started really getting into home brewing. And then, all my friends and family, like, you make great beer. You should open up a brewery someday. And this is way in the early days. So I started entering like home brew competitions over the last few years, of trying to get like a more unbiased opinion on my home brews. And I'm just winning awards left and right for this beer, that beer, this beer, that beer, internationally, nationally. I won twice in the national home brew competition 2 years in a row. Like that was like big. That's like the Grammys of home brewing. And I landslide in that. So then I'm like, oh shit, like now I'm about to go start brewing with these other breweries, not only to help put my name out there that I know how to brew beer, but I got more followers. Like I'm not trying to boast it up, but on Instagram, like I got more followers than a lot of breweries do. So I'm like, this is kind of a way that we can help each other. Like you help me get to learn the process of brewing, introduce my style of brewing to your fans, but also I'm gonna introduce my people to you. And then now, I'm on my LeBron James vibe. Like it's time to take my talents to Austin and open up my own brewery. I'm helping all these other breweries make money. Now it's time for me to do the same. So now that's why I'm opening up Urban Jungle Brewing here in Austin, Texas. We'll be the first Black-owned brewery in Austin, Texas.
Woo!
The second Black.
Oh, whoa! What's happening?
Country right now, less than 1% of that is Black owned.
Nice.
And then less than that. So that leaves us with like out of 8,000 plus breweries, we got about 60 to 65 breweries in America that are Black owned.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right.
That still ain't enough.
And out of those Black owned breweries, and we just gonna make some dope beer, a very inclusive
I think we lost
brewery that's gonna invite everyone, Black, brown.
It's still he real choppy.
In Austin, I'm chopping up a little bit.
Yeah.
What you're saying is too much for the internet.
They said not this black guy. Wait a minute.
What? Yeah. He's trying to take over.
That's fucking Donald Trump. There ain't nobody with Trump did that. It's the hat.
The hat, the defeat from last night, him in his bunker, he's coming out of his bunker for your ass.
That's good shit though. Like, is there do you guys have like a specific beer that you guys brew, or it's just any kind, like a different specific style?
Many kinds of beer. Our biggest focus is going to be like pastry stouts, pastry sours, IPAs, everything under the sun. But we're going to mostly focus on our stout and sour game.
Okay, I like that.
Now, Barb, do you homebrew as well?
I did for a while.
You did.
With a 4-year-old, I'm not all that interested. And it's funny because when I had her, I thought, well, maybe I can continue doing it, and she can be like the baby brewer. No. No, wasn't that really that interested in having her. And even now, I think, I should, because I would like to make I kind of was going to make a stout. That was kind of my next thing. I've done a lot of different ales. But I just, no. I'm gonna be honest. There's like a lot of work, and you stand around and you want to just sit and drink while you want to relax. It's a relaxing situation to do it. Like you do it, and you want to be involved, and you don't want to keep hearing, "Mama, can I? Mama, look, Mama, can I touch? Mama, no."
Right.
So, no, not.
I got you.
But maybe when she goes to school, I will pull them out, and as I'm looking, it's all sitting over there in a box.
I mean, this question could be for either you, Shannon, or Barb, since you guys both have homebrewed, and Rob, you've homebrewed. So I have a lot of apprehension about homebrewing. I got my still starter kit that I haven't cracked just yet for like 2 years. From Christmas. We've had people on the podcast say the same thing. They got a home kit. They kind of sat it on the shelf, didn't touch it. For me, my apprehension is, like in that kit, do I have everything I need? And how is this going to come out? And I won't know, obviously, until I do it. But did you guys have similar apprehensions about kind of opening that first homebrew kit up? Or what was that whole thing like? Because I'm nervous. That's all it is. I'm kind of nervous. Like,
what you nervous for?
No, can I execute this and will it be drinkable? That's, and maybe that's just, the perfectionist in me as a person or whatever when you set out to do stuff. But
I made mine and jacked it up and didn't care.
Well, Shannon just said if he liked it, he kept it. If not, he threw it out.
Yeah.
You gotta start and see what happens.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's your feedback. Let me hear their feedback.
You can go ahead, Shannon.
Okay, cool. I don't really know. I kind of was like one of those, like, if I got something, I'm gonna use it, or if I spent money on it, I'm gonna use it to the best of my ability. Right. It was a learning curve. I'm gonna tell you now. When you get those starter kits, there's a lot of information and a lot of pieces of the puzzle that are not.
That's true.
That's what I keep feeling. Go ahead.
Yeah. So when I did my first homebrew kit, it was like a Brooklyn brew shop, or I think that's it, Brooklyn Beer Shop or Brooklyn Brew Shop homebrew kit. And they give you kind of everything to make that 1 gallon batch at home, but what they don't give you is like bottles. Like, so after you make the beer and you ferment it, where are you putting it to drink it? Mm-hmm. And then it doesn't tell you the whole process of like cleaning versus sanitizing, which are two different things. They give you like this one little packet of cleaner and be like, this is your one and all cleaner. There is no such thing. Cleaning means you cleaning something, scrubbing it, cleaning it, getting the debris off. Sanitizing meaning you making it food grade, edible, that ain't gonna hurt you, mess your stomach up. It's sanitizing. Two different things.
Right.
So there's a lot of variables in there that when it comes to trying to do your first homebrew kit, there are better homebrew kits, but obviously a lot of people don't want to spend that kind of money at first because you got to spend more, upwards of like $100, $150 to $200 where it comes with everything like bottles and sanitizer and all of that. But I'll say, man, just go ahead and knock it out. I mean, worst case scenario, at the end of the day, you're going to make beer. You're not going to make a product that's going to kill you. It may give you the BGs or something like that if you mess up a little bit, but it ain't going to kill you. So you can still drink it, or you can just throw it away and try again. You know, brewing ain't for everybody, and I always explain that when you become a brewer, you're basically a janitor that knows how to make alcohol. So it takes a lot of cleaning, a lot of sanitizing, and that turns people off. Like some people are like, you know what, hey, fuck this. I just want to
Yeah, that's
beer.
too much.
I ain't got time to be down making that stuff.
Yeah, that's true. And I did mine and messed it up.
Cleaning bottles, that's some of the things that are not going to necessarily be in that kit that I should.
Yeah, depending on the kit that you have. It really just depends which kit you got.
Yeah, it depends on which one you got.
Yeah, because years ago I had the Mr. Beer kit, which actually came with it actually was pretty solid in terms of a kit. Like it explained that a mild no scratch type of detergent to clean, and it also did have that pack of so it told you that cleaning and sanitizing was two different things. Now I haven't brewed in a while, but yeah, you just gotta jump in there.
You gotta knock it out, man.
Rob's was good.
You just gotta knock it out.
What about what I hear everybody like talking about, like the big pot that you're heating everything up. Now I have like a propane kit that I can a propane burner that I can use for like if I ever wanted to deep fry a turkey or whatever, and I've got a kind of pot like I can use that part to put everything in.
Just make sure you have a big brew kettle. Like, don't go cheap and use the kettle that you use to make spaghetti in.
Right.
Because when it starts bubbling up, you're like, please, don't do that.
Right.
Yeah, once you get an overboil, that's one mess that you can't clean up, and it's gonna be very sugary and nasty on track. So I highly recommend if you have the capability of brewing outdoors, brew that shit outdoors. And as Barb said, definitely get you a higher level or made kettle or pot that you're gonna brew in, like those turkey fryer pots. Those are aluminum.
Okay.
You want to go with a stainless steel pot, but obviously, if you already fried a turkey in it last year, that ain't the same pot you want to brew beer in.
Right.
I've never even used it. So I bought it to do a turkey. Never did the fried turkey. Got it at Boscov because I was like, you know what?
He just gets stuff and don't use it at all.
That's what it sounds like. Whole garage full of boxes.
I agree because I had this whole idea that I was going to deep fry a turkey one year, and then it was all these stories that came out with people's houses and decks catching on fire using these damn peanut oil. I said, fuck that shit. I'm not doing that. It'll be my luck that I'll be burn some shit down. So this.
Do you follow through with anything? Because what I'm hearing is you want to do stuff and you don't do any of it.
Two things, Barb. Two things.
I've only known you for 2 minutes.
There you go. That's all you got to go off. But those are two things that I was like, I had to back away from. I'm like, no. Now I can cook my ass off, Barb. Now I'm a chef. I can execute. So
that's kind of one reason why I got into home brewing, because I thought, well, I can cook.
Yeah,
so it'll make it easier to at least, So I mean, that's why I started. So
Good.
just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Next time I talk to you, I hope you will have done something, either fried the turkey or made the beer. One or the other.
Look, you slide in.
You got 2 weeks. You can fry.
Yeah, you can fry turkey.
Look for me to slide in your DM on some look. I got what I need. I'm about to do this. So walk me through. This is what I picked up from the store in addition to my kit. Here we go.
Meanwhile, I got my kit, messed it up, but that's fine when I did it. That's cool. But I fry turkey every year for Thanksgiving. So man, you need to get your stuff together, man.
You just gotta do it. Now, Shannon, you had was it a Kickstarter that's still going on, or did the Kickstarter end? I mean, I know it was pretty successful, but is it still live, or is it still?
No, the Kickstarter's done. You know what the Kickstarter was?
And what is it?
Something that I was scared about. So we did a Kickstarter to kind of help raise some initial funding for Urban Jungle Brewing, like to help us get through the first initial steps of starting a brewery, such as acquiring our licensing, getting our merch and branding up, working on construction and development plans, paying our lawyer fees, and hopefully when we find our actual location, we're still searching for a location. We narrowed it down to 2 places right now, so we're just working out the details, and then that's going to pay for the permitting that's going to get going. So when we first launched the Kickstarter to raise $60,000 to help us get our foot in the door of opening this brewery, you know, we did it right in the smack middle of the hot, when it was real hot zone for COVID, which numbers are starting to skyrocket a little bit again now. Mm-hmm. And, you know, in my mind, I'm like, man, this is the worst time to be trying to ask people for money. You know, everybody clutching their purses and coins real tight. Ain't nobody going to be donating nothing to us. That's just not going to happen. So I was like, man, we're not going to meet this goal. I'm already just like, it's out there. We released it. We told people there's a Kickstarter. Nothing's going to happen. Day one, we raised like $12,000 out of the goal. Awesome. And I'm like, oh, wow. Damn. So I'm like, okay, there might be some people who actually feeling, you know, what's going on and everything. Mm-hmm. Then the next day, you know, news articles started coming out. You know, Eater reached out to us. All the local news stations reached out to us, started doing like TV appearances and everything there. So like the first week, we already hit like $30,000 of our goal in 1 week. And this was a 30-day Kickstarter. So every week we just crunching numbers. And then it started getting down to the last and final days. And, you know, we were really short on our goal because, you know, things started to slow down. Everybody who really wanted to donate already donated. Like, we ain't got much more to give you, but I gave you what I could. And, you know, we started really like, you know, scared, like, you know, because with Kickstarter, it was either you hit your goal or you don't. Like, we wanted $60,000. If we was $1 short, Kickstarter was going to cancel it and give everybody their money back and everything. What? So we were like, damn, like I think we were down to like our last like $8,000 to $10,000. And I'm like, you know, sweating bullets. Like, I mean, I'm like, we made it this far. We got all the news press. We're in Imbibe. We're in Forbes. We're like, you know, got all of these people that reached out to us and made these articles. And then we're not even going to hit the goal. So I'm stressed out. And then Kickstarter called me and was like, hey, we see that your Kickstarter is about to end soon, but you have one of the most successful Kickstarters that we've ever seen launch ever on Kickstarter, like from day one goal. And now this is a perfect time that you did it because we're doing this Black Lives Matter program on Kickstarter, where if you go to Kickstarter.com, it's nothing but Black-owned Kickstarters on there, and we made you our front cover page on our Kickstarter. Whoa! And on top of that, we can't donate money to you because that's going to play favoritism and all that, but we're going to give you an extra 25 days to reach your goal. Oh, man. And then when that happened, Kickstarter came through, pulled through, and we were able to reach our goal. We actually raised close to almost $64,000. For the Kickstarter, and then man, round of applause, man. Yeah, you know what it is. There's so much support. We had almost 1,000 backers on Kickstarter at the end of the day. So we got a lot of T-shirts and hats and glassware and all this stuff that's going to go out to everybody that supported us. And I mean, I'm just so happy to have the community support because that was our big thing with Urban Jungle, just trying to make this as communal as possible. I didn't want to do this, especially in, let's just face it, a very red state, white dominant state of Texas. And like, I'm just don't want to be that Black person trying to come in and say, you know, I'm gonna do this and do that brewery and then don't have no support from the locals or just people who knew me out in the community. And just to know that I just have that many people believe in me, it's very humbling. I can say that. Very humbling.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Yeah. So Kickstarter came through and we did.
So how long ago did you reach your goal, and when did Kickstarter end? You may have said it.
So the Kickstarter ended on September 26th. Okay. All the way down to the very last second. They even did a big countdown on their main page. If you went to Kickstarter.com, it was like this big live countdown for Urban Jungle Brewing on their website. So I had a little hosting party. We put it up on the TV and everything and kind of waited till the countdown happened. When that shit hit midnight, And it was like, you funded.
He made it.
104%. It was just
that's crazy.
Okay, this is real now.
Right.
I always had that little doubt feeling like, oh, we don't hit the Kickstarter, like I'm cool. Like I ain't even gonna even pursue this. I'm gonna just stick to home brewing. But now that we hit it and now I got people's money, like I
you gotta
I'm
go
going because
like Barb said, you gotta finish it.
I really don't want to
Right.
not make it.
Yeah, right.
So I gotta make sure I use this money and do everything I said I was gonna do and run it until I can't run it or run it until we open. So I'm doing everything possible to make this a reality of a brewery. And I'm using every resource I could possibly get for it.
Don't use that money for a pink suit like we would do in Detroit.
No, I ain't gonna do none of that. I already made it. I ain't touched a dollar. Like I ain't put gas in my car from that money. I ain't done that. If anybody want to see bank statements, hey, it's right here. I heard none of that bad press. Oh, none of that. Like, damn, you just paid your mortgage with that?
So I actually have a question. So with your business plan, when do you plan? Do you have an open date, a soft open date? Like,
yeah. So with Urban Jungle Brewing, we're going to go into production brewing starting next year. To where we're not going to have a brewery and tap room. We're just going to do production to where we self-distribute a lot of our beer throughout Texas first, obviously. So we're going to start getting our buzz and name out there and start getting the product. Because that's one question that's always been asked to us when we do interviews and all that is like, but where are you? Like, when are you opening and where can I get your beer? So we're going to start producing probably like about 5 to 6 beers, start getting those in heavy rotation locally. And then we're going to figure out how we can get those out to neighboring states of Texas. But the actual brewery and tap room will open in Q4 of 2022.
Got it.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right. There it is. Now, I brought this up last week, Barb, and they didn't believe me, so maybe you can explain it better. I think I saw a video of yours where you took a hot metal pipe and stuck it in.
Oh, it was her that did it.
Not a pipe. I didn't. It's a poker, or it's called a loggerhead, or it's called a Schnauzenflüger or something like that. I don't know. I can't think of what it is, but it's traditionally it's a loggerhead, and you stick it. It's called beer poking, where you take it, you heat it up, and you put it in a dark beer, a bock, a beer that has residual sugars. Any of that, and it changes the taste of it. So if it's cold, it warms it up, which you want your stouts to be warmer anyway, and it kind of caramelizes it, and it gives it a completely different taste. So I'm kind of surprised when I had been I just read about old beer things. Mm-hmm. And I'm surprised that everyone sort of jumped on that and was like, that's the most amazing thing ever.
Well, that's what Rob said. We like, man, get the fuck out of here.
I was like, I seen it. I know I saw it.
No, it does change the taste. I mean, I did it on my IG just to try it out. And then I did a interview with Scene Magazine, and I did it live with it was a Fourth Dementia, which is a brewery that's around here, which is it's an old ale, which traditionally it should be done with an English ale, so an old English ale. And also traditionally, the drink that they did it with was called a flip, which was, I believe it's an old English ale, rum with brown sugar, and you put it all together. I haven't done that one yet, like what was done 400 years ago. But yeah, I used an old English ale, and it made it taste. It brought out elements in the beer that I didn't even know were in the beer. It's like a nuttiness, almost like a candied pecan sort of thing. So it works. Laugh if you want to, fellas, but it.
Well, there you go, Shannon. You just got to have hot pokers on deck at the brewery.
Hey, anything that's gonna bring the people in, man, I'm at to stand out.
You know what?
I'm already at a disadvantage, being the only black brewery. So, I got to think of everything creative I can.
Trick to the trade.
You know what? It ain't gonna be the same if Barb don't come do it.
Exactly.
And you know what? When you open it, well, here's the problem though. In Texas, it's hot. Like that's a cool thing up here because it's Michigan and it's cold. Right. And the first time I did it out at my fireplace. Okay. So we make a lot of fires. And then the next time I did it, I just did it on the stove because I was, trying to be inside. Yeah. But But it is huge. Like in Ohio, I know they're having a beer poker festival.
Oh wow! Damn.
Yeah, I'm originally from Ohio. But somebody, like, people have been sending me stuff, and they do like heritage hog roast. They do a lot of that sort of, hometown Ohio stuff. I can say that because I'm from Ohio. And they're having a beer poker festival because like around kind of a German thing. So you want me to come in when your brewery's open and do that trick for people?
I got you. Yeah, I'll get you posted on day one. I don't know how receptive it's gonna be. Like you said, it is hot. And ain't nobody drinking no hot beer out here. So.
You don't leave it in there for long. Like you just you have it really cold. You put it in there, and by the time you pull it out, it isn't warm. Like it isn't warm. It just takes the chill off of it. But
Yeah, that was part of my reason for asking when you were opening, because obviously we can support virtually, but if we know dates, if we know times of the year to come, and it fits into our schedule, we travel, man. We want to travel. We want to get out and support where we can. And I mean, Texas was on the list at one point, but COVID hit right before at one point, and it just threw everything off.
And you said you were.
Aren't you guys open in Texas though? You guys aren't you guys like open? Are you guys open in Texas like Florida is, where you're wearing masks or anything? And
we are wearing masks. It is a mandate that you have to wear a mask everywhere in Texas, especially in Austin. I think you get fined up to like $2,000 if you're like walking around in public without a mask. Wow. But at breweries, all of our bars are open. They just have it to most breweries are doing just outdoor seating only. You can't sit in the tap room. And then if you find a table or spot outside, you can take your mask off. But if you're walking around or going to order a beer, you have to have your mask on.
I just saw all of the sparkles.
There it is.
I just poured the last bit and saw all the sparkles in there.
Super glittery. Sorry. We put way too much glitter in that beer, but it is what it is.
I want one. I don't want to see the. Glitter.
Well, that
I'm taking a picture of it right now.
That sold out pretty quickly. I think that when they dropped that one.
It sold out in like 2 minutes.
Oh God!
Yeah, like quick. Like we were actually shocked because all of us, the answer, myself, I think Uncapped, everything is on there. Who else was on there? Black Ninja Design was part of it, and CM Bryant from Malarkey was on there, and also Weber Souls participated in it as well. Then you can see we put the Tupac lyric right in the back from the Changes song.
Oh
Place hate may disgrace the racist. So we put that in there, but when we all went online because we were going to support and like everybody buy 1 4-pack, just to support because all the money was going to be donated anyway, as it should with Black is Beautiful. And all of us got online and it was done.
Damn.
Like none of us got to buy it ourselves.
That was like some Jordans.
That's a good problem to have, though. That's awesome.
It's a good problem because 100% of those proceeds were donated to a local organization in Richmond, Virginia. To help women and children. That's like, I think it was something to do with like domestic violence and legal. And then we also donated a portion of it to the NAACP Legal Defense Fund.
Nice.
Wow.
No, Shannon, you said the spring of 2022. Is that what you were saying in terms of the opening? That's what your target date is?
Q4. So we're looking at probably like fall or winter of 2022. But we're going to start a production facility next year, so where we're just going to strictly produce beer and just get it out there, so we can continue to buzz and help build our name. And then once we gather enough funds from those sales, we'll start putting a lot of that into the actual build out of the brewery. And we actually thinking of raising or starting another type of crowdsourcing program for crowdfunding to help with the actual build of the brewery at that time. We're trying to figure out the details because we don't want to really go all about it, like, membership, t-shirts, all of that. That happened with the first Kickstarter. With this one, it's just going to be more focused on helping us build. And we're thinking about doing it where we're going to sell bricks. That's going to be engraved with people's name and all that kind of stuff. So when we build a brewery, we'll have a dedication wall to say that you helped build this brewery. Like this brewery was built on community. Here's the people names that helped us build this brewery. Awesome. And that's something how we want to pay homage back to everybody who's been supporting us.
That's like the Black History Museum.
Great vision for that. That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's dope.
You guys were like, how's he going to blow you away? Since you have such a long resume, Siren of Stout.
Right,
he just blew me away.
Exactly.
Cut this shit off.
Hey, you making the real change. You making the real change. What you doing out there is unfathomable. Nobody can touch what you doing.
Right.
Speaking of, so Rob said you was a TV host,
TV personality, right?
Yeah. TV personality.
I have been doing that for a long time. So I've been in entertainment for probably about 20 years. So I do commercials.
You definitely have the voice.
Well, it's funny because my major was sports broadcasting. I wanted to be. You remember when Robin Roberts was in?
That's the voice.
Yeah, that's the voice. I was like, yeah, I can hear your ass.
That's the voice.
I hear it.
And that's just my voice. I'm not putting it on. I don't leave here and turn to the side and go, what? I don't. This is how I sound
every day. All day. Every day, all day.
I wake up and there it is. Robin Roberts was who I was like, I want to be her on ESPN.
Okay.
And then, went in sports broadcasting, was about to do, I actually had an internship as a, in sports at some, whatever. But I had it was either do that or go to the Olympics. And instead I went to the Olympics in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. And then I literally just keep following, like when the universe sends me things, I just keep going, I'll keep going down this path. I'll just keep going down this path. So I did not stay with sports broadcasting. I ended up getting into doing runway. I started, because I'm really tall, and started doing print stuff and commercials. And I just got into that side, which I never thought I wanted to get into that side. Mm-hmm. So, and then I started doing TV hosting stuff as well. So I do, where I have done, like morning shows and stuff around the Detroit, Michigan area, that sort of thing. Yeah. I mean, I've had big auditions with people. It's so funny. People don't realize how hard this industry is. It would have been easier for me to be an actual doctor than to be in this industry. I play a doctor a lot. Mm-hmm. It'd been easier just to study and be one. Because I've had auditions with people from Survivor. I've had an audition with Mario Lopez, who actually got the job, and I didn't because he was from Saved by the Bell. Yeah, and they told me, "Wow, you're funnier, and you're da da da." And you've seen him on TV. He's kind of a bore, but
he's a known name. He's a known
no name, no face. And I'm grew up in it, so yeah.
But that's the thing is you can't, what is the thing? It's how do you get experience if you can't get the job to get experience?
Right. Exactly.
Like how can you become the known name if you're not going to let me become the known name?
Right.
So
great.
That's kind of but I'm still in it. I still do it. I do a lot of commercials still. I do a lot of industrial films and stuff like that. So I love it. I love this industry.
So we just can't let you slide that you were in the Atlanta Olympics.
Right. That's what. That's what I'm going to Did you just go like as a spectator, or were you in the Olympics?
What did you compete in?
I did not compete in the Olympics.
Okay.
One, because I didn't make it to trials because I had bilateral stress fractures, but I still was able because my coach was part of the IOC. Mm-hmm. I was able to go and be a transportation supervisor to the athletes. So all of this it was tough to, that he was a part of it. And it literally was like the universe saying, you can't go on, as a runner, but we're going to let you go anyway.
Right.
So it was great. I was able to meet. It was a great experience. I was right there. I was able to meet. You guys remember Dan O'Brien?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Dan and Dave.
Dan and Dave. Yep. So I was able to meet, and then the dream team, like Shaquille O'Neal and all those guys. So I was able to be a part of that, meet all of those people up close. And it was great. Running in it would have been better.
Right.
You know what? I can't complain because it was great. It was awesome. And then I ended up staying in Atlanta. Atlanta is a beautiful place with beautiful people.
Yeah.
It was an amazing experience. So,
and all them Atlanta folks turned out, didn't they, for this election?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
they did.
Yeah. Yeah. Shannon and Barb have some fascinating lives. You got you've been around in the Olympics. He random white men pick him up to bring him back.
Yeah, I was going to say Shannon survived Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah,
It's all over. It's like incredible.
You gotta keep life interesting.
Show. I've never heard some of these stories.
right.
Shannon survived the craft beer. Jeffrey Dahmer. How tall are you?
5'10".
Okay, yeah, that is pretty
That's
tall. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
You're taller than me. Shit.
Oh, sorry, little guy.
I'm short, man. I talk to my parents every day. I'm like, Mom, man, you couldn't find one.
What was the rapper's name? I can't think.
Which one was a little bit
tall?
tall.
What was his name? So Shannon, you touched on something in terms of the style of beers that you were that you're going to really make your specialty, like the pastry beers. Something that came to mind. I saw something on the news about a woman out of Doylestown who's doing more of the pastry beer. She had like French they debuted a French toast bites ale beer, which has the actual mash of the French toast ingredients and everything in her beer. So when you say pastry beers, like, are you going to be putting things like those kinds of pastries and stuff mashed right into your brew, or how's that work? How's that process?
That's exactly how it works. So I'm actually drinking one right now called Humbled and Humble. It's a pastry stout that I brewed with a brewery called Ingenious. Just like the can that Barb has. It has my logo, TheBrewBrotha, right there. Or
why didn't you send that to us before we started this podcast? So we can go, we really like this.
Yeah. So with this particular beer, what we did is that we collaborated the 100% of the proceeds from this beer. This was like our way of like, how do we keep the Black is Beautiful beer initiative going beyond Black is Beautiful? So I connected with Ingenious Brewing in Houston, Texas. And we brewed Humbled and Humble, which is a pastry stout that was brewed with a Black-owned breakfast spot called the Breakfast Club. So they brewed, or they actually made 100 pounds of waffles that we actually threw into the mash to mash all of the beer with the waffles from their beer. Because this is actually a breakfast stout, so it's with waffles, blueberries, and cream cheese that we put into this beer. So it's 10%.
How can we get some of that here?
I'll send it to you.
You got to.
We could have tried it on this broadcast if he had.
I know, man. I'm slacking.
Yeah,
I'm slacking.
Look, I'm gonna send you my VPS account or something. We got or something. We cover shipping.
Yo, that sounds delicious, yo.
Yeah, no, but when it comes to the pastry style beer, so to kind of incorporate what Barb and I was saying to Devin was that when it comes to beer, if you have a passion for food and cooking, you can incorporate that in the beer. And I actually have a very strong passion for baking. So actually, Urban Jungle Brewery is going to be a brewery and a bakery.
Okay.
Because we're going to incorporate a lot of our ingredients into our beer. So I brew beers with German chocolate cake, cupcakes, donuts, cookies, anything pastry and savory that you can think of. I'm throwing that into the beer. Hands down.
Shannon, you just topped Barb. Get her out of here.
Right. Yo, Shan. Everybody love a good hot glazed donut.
Hey, I know.
We got to figure that out, man.
I'm saving that one for the grand opening. I got the glazed donut. I got a sweet potato pie brown ale that I've actually used yams and sweet potatoes to throw into the actual beer, and I actually make sweet potato pie and just crumble them up.
You're trying to make everybody fat out here.
You gonna need insulin shots drinking my beer. I'm telling you, the sugar.
Yeah,
I know. I'm gonna try to make my first South by Southwest and stop at this brewery.
Yeah, doing right.
Come through.
Yeah. We did have some people who wanted to say, Hi, Barb. You were just talking about him.
Hey, Barb. Look at that. We got some viewers. Hey, fellas. What's up?
What's going on?
As she was talking about that beer, she needed
it. Shannon.
Yeah, we do too, ladies.
Yeah, we do too.
Hey, let me take care of them first, and then I'll get with you. And we'll get that to you. Let me take care of them first.
Yeah, that sounds
we'll
good,
review
man.
it. We'll review it. Obviously, it'll be a pass me another.
I want to.
You'll be really up shit's creek because we'll be asking for more and more of it after we pass me another.
Yeah, whenever I make it to Austin, man, I'm gonna hunt you down.
Yeah, no, we really proud of this particular stout. We split the proceeds between. There's an organization called 100 Black Men. They're 100 Black Men of America. But then they have breakoff organizations, and there's 100 Black Men of Houston, 100 Black Men of Austin. And what they do is that they develop programs and teach youth and minorities about technology and the tech industry and everything that to kind of help uplift our communities. So we split the funds right down the middle from the sales and donated it to both organizations. Since I'm in Austin, I wanted to take care of the Austin chapter, and then they're in Houston, so they took care of the Houston chapter. Yeah, and then we invited them to come to the release. We did a big release party 2 weeks ago, and they came out, got to talk about their organization and all of that, and you're trying to help our people out.
Philanthropy.
A little bit, I ain't no CI.
It ain't nothing wrong with it, brother.
I'm doing what I can, and what I can is incorporate beer to bring awareness to everything that we got going on with our communities, and that's what makes me more proud. I mean, I could care less. Obviously, I do want to open a brewery and make it the most successful that I can. But if I can ever do a beer, that's going to bring the community of the beer people in to help raise funding and awareness to organizations and foundations and all of that. That's helping to uplift our community and other minority communities, whether it's women, LGBTQ, children, Black. I don't care, as long as we doing something to help our communities out, because we got the short end of the stick on a lot of things out here. And if I can do something to help and incorporate something I love, which is beer, into that, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah. Well, that sounds like you definitely need the brewery then.
When you guys rebroadcast it, you're gonna go, our only guest, and then our only guest, Shannon, as the brewer, and then there'll be like this black
little block. Well, we love you enough that this is live, Barb. So you're in.
Right, and it's not like you gave us beer poking. You gave us a lot of information.
You guys both have me taking notes over here. I've got bottles that I'm gonna need. I've got the cleaning. You pushed me like somebody pushed you to say, "Fucking just do it, Devin. Just do it." Right? Do it. But a question I did have for both of you, just that's around beer and brewing, and just you guys, the profession you're in now. Do you feel like that where you are now, you've kind of cracked that glass ceiling, or have you, kind of not reached the plight that you both want to be on in craft brew? Obviously, the site or the vision that's right in front of you, Shannon, right now is. The brewery is like your number one focus and your goal. So that's on the vision board. But one is that glass ceiling, so to speak, that you want to reach. And then Barb, for you, what would you say that mark is for you?
Devin wasn't listening. His number one goal is the community, not the brewery. You gotta pay attention. You gotta pay attention. The community.
I don't want to follow that. I don't want to follow that up. I don't want to follow that up with two middle fingers, Yoda. that wouldn't even look right for our viewers. But thanks for being Shannon's assistant.
We're all pro Shannon here.
I was just listening to my man. I don't know where he was at. He was
the glass ceiling, Shannon. That's the question. Like, have you reached
so at least for me, with the glass ceiling, one, it is for sure all about community. I just feel the need of an industry that has always been this vision of just white beard, flannel shirt. Like that's what craft beer is. It's really not that real big market, although breweries love using our culture to sell their beer with hip hop lyrics and the likeness of people and all of that to make
art
beer.
now, even on the art cans.
On the art, all of that. They do all of that, and then they don't consult with us or consult with anybody within the community about like how is this interpreted. They just talk about,
or hire anybody.
Right.
Or don't hire anybody.
Like
if you hired somebody who can just kind of guide y'all in the way. And that's a question or a thing that I kind of been raising here locally in Austin is when I talk to a lot of brewery owners is like, I just want you to pour a beer at your brewery and I want you to go stand in the corner. Just stand there 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour. And I want you to really just peek the vibe of your brewery. How many Black people came in there? How many Hispanics, Asians came in there? Who do you have working behind your bar? Like that's not of a person of color, or do you have a brewer or anything like that? So I think, I've always been like this, moniker, whatever you want to call it on Instagram as the BrewBrotha. And, the guy who drinks all these crazy beers and travel all over the world for beer and all of that. But it's like, there gotta be something more to that. And my more to that is my glass ceiling is being able to open that brewery to kind of hopefully empower. And I don't want to like empower other people of color to necessarily get into brewing, but if you feel that's something I want to teach when I come here is like, if you feel like you want to do something, go out there and do it. Don't feel like I'm going to be the only person that's doing this out here of my kind and I'm a little standoffish because I already know I'm in Texas. I'm about to get a lot of shit. When I open up this brewery, people ain't gonna be feeling it. I'm gonna be wearing hats like this and shit at my brewery. People ain't gonna be feeling it.
Exactly.
I already know that. But the goal was that as nervous as I was, I feel like it's something that's necessary. There is no reason that Weathered Souls should be the only Black-owned brewer and Black-owned brewery owner in the state of Texas. One of the biggest states in this damn country. And we got a lot of breweries here. And he's the only one carrying the world on his back right now. I'm gonna take a little bit of that weight off his shoulder, and anything I can do to help assist him and also assist my community is what I'm gonna do, and that's what I feel. Awesome. I know Barb gonna do something way bigger.
Eloquently put, brother.
What was that?
I agree with him.
Eloquently put. That was
appreciated.
Just replay what Shannon just said.
Nah, come on, Queen. What you got? Come on, Queen. What you got?
Mine is not bigger. I feel the same way.
We're a partnership. That's what it is. We all in here for the same goal.
Right.
All we're doing is uplifting our people. That's what we're doing.
There you go.
And that's all really I want to do. Like I will say, a couple years ago, it like in my deepest heart, I kept thinking maybe I want to open up like a nano brewery, a small, where you do experimental beers and that sort of thing. But as I go further along in the beer world, I just want people to, I want to explain, okay, a lot of stuff I do, because I'll do whatever I want because I'm a Gemini, so I'll just do something. A lot of stuff I do, somebody will go, why are you doing that? That's what white people do. Like when I got into beer, it was, why are you drinking beer? That's what white people do.
Right.
Yep.
But that's because people don't know our history with beer. People don't know that it originated in Egypt 5,000 BC. They don't know that women were the first brewers. So that's the other thing is, why are you brewing beer? That's what men do. No, and that's my main reason of staying in it. So now it's less about me wanting to do a nano brewery and wanting to explain to people a lot of things that you say or you've said or people have said to me. Why are you doing that? That's what white people do. We started. We originated or we came up with it, and we've come out of it and they've taken it over, and now we're like, we don't want to do that. And I don't understand. I've never understood the mentality of why we can't do it because somebody else does it or white people or whatever. Right. So that's what I wanted. My biggest thing here is educating people, a lot of the marginalized people, to do what you want to do. Right. Because our ancestors probably started it anyway.
Exactly.
So
more than likely.
And when we do it, and whatever we do, we always make it better.
We make it better. Ain't nobody got that seasoning that we got. Nobody season things like we do.
That seasoning is called soul.
Nobody got that soul.
I think Dave Chappelle said it last night on the Saturday Night Live, his monologue. He said,
"Oh, I missed that.
Everything needs black eyes on it. You got
right.
Yeah,
that's true.
Hey, we got to supervise it all.
Yeah, we should be in this industry. We should be. And my other thing is, I don't understand why we always feel like we don't belong somewhere. We want to be like we belong
everywhere.
Yeah. We have been all over this world 900 times before anybody else was. I mean, if you really want to get down to like the brass tacks of things, like ships out of Africa have been everywhere before everything. Right. So there's nowhere where we shouldn't go. There's nowhere we haven't been, and there's nowhere we don't belong. Yep. So I'll say this, and I never feel like when I walked into a brewery and I'm the only one, I never think, should I be here? Right. But that's only because my mother told me like long time ago, she goes, wherever you go, you belong. Yes. I don't care where it is. I remember we were going to a country club thing, and I was like, we're going to be the only black people there. And she goes, I don't care, because wherever you go, you belong. Right. You belong anywhere. Yep. So I've taken
Barb,
that.
I'm inviting you now. When I open up, we're doing a collaboration, and that's the beer name right there.
There we go. Well, you belong everywhere.
Wherever you go,
I'm gonna bring my mama with me too.
Hey, bring mama too. Bring mama too.
Well, I will be there. Yes. So, I appreciate it, and I will be there. Don't take it back, because I'm like an elephant. I have a long memory. So. I'll keep sliding your DMs. Hey, Shannon,
black people don't forget.
Look, you also are on a recorded line. Thank you. This is a recorded line. Thank you.
Shannon, she'll throw this clip at 1 hour and 11 minutes and 50 seconds. Take your DM clip. There it is. You gonna wonder.
Remember this?
I remember you.
Uh-huh. I think I vaguely remember you, Barb. Remember this?
How about that?
But what y'all
that's what I'm trying to get out to other people. I want them to feel the same empowerment that I feel, that it don't matter where you go.
Belonging.
You belong.
That's what I agree. I'm glad y'all said that, because it's like sometimes we feel like we don't belong in certain places. Well, me myself, it doesn't really bother me too much. I'd rather make other people uncomfortable than me. So if you feel weird that I'm in there, like if it's a bunch of white people, I don't know the black guy, you're uncomfortable, not me. So I'm cool with it. But like, we do belong everywhere. So it's just like, that's the reason why the podcast is here too, to let black people know, like it's a lot of us out here, and like don't feel uncomfortable like being in the craft beer. Like it's just something that. It's
vegan anything. Like if you want to go skiing, if you want to do if you want to do something.
Come on, black people do not get
that's one thing. You want to ice skating. You want to I've done a ton of stuff where people are like, "Why are you doing that?" Or you think you're white. Yeah. Why? Because I want to do something that, like, people always said, people make deals on the golf course.
Oh, yeah.
So what should we be doing? We should probably be learning how to do golf.
Exactly.
So I started learning golf years ago, because you know what? You never know if you're going to be invited to something. Right, and then you show up and
listen, it's funny. Just last night I was down in Riverfront, and I was talking to a white family who was next to us, standing in the crowd. And, we were just sharing in excitement and love and being all together in the same space. And, I made the comment of, you guys, know where Donald Trump is right now. And they were like golfing. They were like, yeah, he's probably on the golf course right now making another fucking crooked deal. To your point. He's, whatever that deal is, it doesn't have to be financial. He's got somebody next to him, and they're strategizing what is his next move going to be, because he don't got nowhere to go. He's getting evicted from the White House. He caught COVID. he like what my man say, our boy from Barrels of Lead, he said he got the full 2020 experience. He got all three in one wine. But that's where the deal, like you said, that's where he's making his deals right now. He's on that golf course. He's like, this is what's gonna take my mind, but I'm on my next chapter. I'm on my next thing. So
you gotta be one step ahead of people when they go, hey, we're gonna go golfing, and you're the only one who doesn't know how to do it.
I golf a lot. There's a lot going on them golf courses, man. And I'm actually so my day job is like I do commercial real estate. So I've been in commercial real estate for the last 10 years.
So you gotta go.
All of our
he had to throw that shit on top of everything else, huh? Yeah. Okay. I see what's going on here. We're gonna cut some of yours out.
I'm just saying, hey,
good. Don't make me look better.
Hey, I want to get people in that industry too. So we talk about that on another episode because here in Austin, Texas, I'm one of 3 Black people in the commercial real estate industry in Austin, Texas. And that's very sad. And I'm the only Black man in commercial real estate in Austin, Texas.
Hey, Shannon, I gotta hook you up with my realtor who's from Trinidad, but he's here. He sold us our house, but he does a rum and real estate podcast and streaming on Thursday nights. So they just talk about real estate and they talk about the things that are happening. His name is Neil. He's a very, very great guy. You'll love him. But
I would love to. That's another passion of mine, is just trying to get more people of color into this industry as well.
Yep. Awesome.
So this Urban Jungle Brewery is going to be insane. This is
insane.
Real estate brewing.
Oh yeah,
right.
I know what I'm doing. Yeah, doing what I'm doing. You know.
So in terms of space, like you said, you're narrowing it down to.
Hey, we gotta steal that. We gotta steal and claim that. You know, we gotta take that.
So in terms of square footage, you said you're narrowing it down to, like a facility, and you've got 2 in mind. How many square feet are you looking at launching or having Jungle Brewing take up?
You know what? I'll break news here first. I ain't announced this to nobody. So I'm actually looking at 2 locations. One is so we can open up earlier than 2022. That would be our production facility that we're trying to do. That'll be about a 4,000 square foot warehouse space where we're not going to have a brewery, a tap room. You can't come, hang out, sit down, drink beer. Yep. It's just production, and we're doing beer releases. So like every other Saturday, we'll release a beer or 2 where you can come grab them and go. That would be our method if we do go that route, production facility. We also looking at another space right now to where we can go straight up directly into brewery, tap room, and beer garden. Okay. And if we do that, that'll be about 4,000 square feet tap room with also a 1.5 acre beer garden, to where we can fit about 200-300 people in the actual beer garden. And then we're also going to have farming there where we grow and resource a lot of our own ingredients, but it's going to have a program involved that if you want to sign up for a membership or sign your children up for a membership, this was something that we thought about that when COVID hit, is that you remember when COVID first hit, everybody was scrambling for toilet paper, groceries, all that kind of stuff. And it came out to it. So I've actually been farming and all this kind of stuff for years. So it was shocking to know how many people don't know how to grow lettuce, grow oranges and fruits and vegetables to survive. And I want to teach people, especially people of color, how do you grow your own food? In case we ever get to a point that we can't just go out there and do something. You need to know how to grow cucumbers, peppers, lettuce, all that kind of stuff out there. And also I went vegetarian about a year ago. So I've been really big on my I've been cheating. I ain't even gonna lie. I've been a lot lately, but I was doing my thing. I was being a little more sustainable with my life and just eating more healthier and
that's awesome.
Growing a lot of my own food.
Okay, damn.
Yeah,
that's what's up. Well, you heard news here.
Said she can't wait for the Urban Jungle Experience. You can't wait.
Urban Jungle Experience. Unfortunately, the membership is sold out for Urban Jungle for year 1, but that's the Urban Nightclub. We actually just got these in, the Urban Jungle branded Yeti. So those just came out. That's going to members. And, but next
year, to members.
What
type of show is that then, Shannon?
That was on a Kickstarter. That was part of the Kickstarter.
He didn't go. Look, he did not go cheap. He went with that Yeti joint.
I know it.
Yeti.
First class over
Here's
here.
what you guys can't have.
But if y'all ever want, I can send y'all stickers. We got
stickers.
I'm doing hats. We got shirts. We got hoodies. If you go to the website urbanjunglebrew.com, we have a merch section. There's t-shirts, hats, masks, everything on there. All Urban Jungle branded on the website.
All right.
Let's go.
Now, we know how Shannon got his name on IG. Barb, how did you get yours?
Yeah.
Siren of Stout.
It was kind of my husband came up with it. It was because he knows I love stouts, and it was literally like just organic. It was.
He said you're loud. He said you're loud. You like stout.
It was, and he knows how I feel about women of color and how I feel about my passion about helping them and volunteering at places where I can get them in. And so it was like, you call out to people, Siren calls out to people and kills them. I don't do that,
Right.
Like the person Shannon was hanging out with when he first had experience. But I call out to them to bring them in, to embrace them, to let them know that they're not the only one and that they are welcome. So it just went kind of hand in hand. That's, I'm the Siren of Stout. I yell out to people to bring them into the industry.
I like
That's
it.
What's up. That's what's up.
And it stuck.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, I can. I'm at the voice. The voice is definitely sports announcer voice.
Yeah, every time she talks, that's all I think about.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't have. I should have took the internship. I could have been. I could have been Carrie Champion right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys,
Then you wouldn't be here. So
I hear it. I hear it all in the voice. I just killed it. You can kill it. You still can kill it.
Yeah, definitely. Still do. I can see when her daughter gets a little older, she can be like, she rounding the bases and then she's going. whatever she's.
I already can't take it. I took her to a soccer practice for the first time because, like I said, she's 4. So I took her to a soccer practice, and they're just learning fundamentals. And I'm sitting on the sideline, and I'm like, I need to meditate.
Right.
They're trying to teach her how to shuffle the ball, and she's like, I can't do this. And I'm like, I need to go outside and have a drink. So I'm already that person who is too overly competitive. Like,
You telling her, you better kick the ball, do it.
Don't embarrass me out there.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm already that person.
Think about
That poor baby mom gonna come home and do a whole broadcast about what they're doing. Well, she would have just kicked the ball.
Right.
I'm trying not to be that person, but it's funny. I was texting my husband. He's like, she's just 4. It's just soccer. It doesn't even matter. Like he was a basketball player and I was a runner. So we're both very,
very, very passionate.
So she'll get it together.
She will. She'll
parents.
We met a family, and they're a couple, and they're both very college athletes in their prime, and they have a basically star football player son who's at like St. Mark's or whatever, and I'm watching this boy at the pool party when we were at this summer, and like he's catching the ball in the air from across the other side of the pool with one arm, and he's throwing it with the same arm, and I'm like, yo, y'all got a superstar in our hand. And he's like, and he was saying some of the same things that you and your husband feel like, we're trying to stay humble. Like he comes from that lineage, but we don't want to make it too tough for him or feel like that he's got to live up to what it was like for us coming from 2 athletes. So we want to just let him, if this is his interest right now, we want to let him live in the moment, let him have fun with it, but not, put that pressure on him. Yeah. So it sounds like that's where you guys are coming from.
It's tough because I get it. She's 4. She's 4. She may. I was like, but it's funny. Sometimes we joke about if she grows up and she's like, I don't want to do sports. I think I want to be like a history major.
Inside, you be dying inside.
That's fine.
She's like, it's okay, baby, and go in her room and stuff her head and put on.
So
I get it. One of our podcast members who's not here, but he's able to view. He's with his son at a basketball game. He said he feels your sentiment. He was screaming at refs a minute ago. He's at his son's basketball game.
I keep thinking I don't want to be, and I was like, I won't be that person. Like,
yeah,
but I think it's just it's
in you. It's in you. That's all.
That's the problem.
It's in your DNA. It's there. It's woven in.
Yeah.
Well, I told him next time she has practice, he's taking her.
Oh.
Because he was like, it's not that big of a deal. Calm down. I go, well, you know what? You can take her ass next time to practice and see this atrocity.
And then watch, you gonna come home and be like, yeah, so
we need to
strategize. Say the same thing you say. I think I yelled at her.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, Shannon. But did you also do like beer travel events? Did you also do that too? Am I wrong about that?
Okay. Yeah, I do an international bottle share every year, where I host. So another thing, I'm also a travel agent.
Of course,
so
of course
I do.
What would you be?
All I see is income. Let's bring it in. Bring that in.
You fly them on your own airline too, Shannon.
Hey, I'm trying to get there one day. One day, we got an urban jungle.
No, but I have built a plane before.
Soul Plane was pretty cool as a movie. I would love to fly our own black airline.
Urban Jungle Air coming soon.
Your pilot.
Well, they said if you ain't got more than one stream of income, then you ain't trying. I think so. He's living up to that for sure.
I just got my hands in so many pots. There's just a lot of things I'm passionate about, and I just dive in. And travel is one of them. I'm a nomad by heart. I love exploring the world, getting to know other cultures, getting to know other food and drinks, things like that. I feel like when you experience that kind of stuff in your life, it kind of elevates you to another level to know like what else is going on in the world. We already know, like, we can't really depend on everything that's happening in America. We help build this motherfucker, but at the same time, it ain't for us. I don't know. It's just like a lot of weird things going on. So I like to see what other cultures are doing. So I go like Dominican Republic, Jamaica, Mexico, Africa. That's where my wife and I got married, was in Africa. And that was probably one of the coolest experiences I've ever had. But we do an international bottle share every year around, it's between like August to October. And we'll pick somewhere tropical. It's an adults only, like all-inclusive resort. And everybody brings beer from their region. And we just like, it's at the same time, it's a vacation. So you enjoy, it's usually like 5 or 6 days. You have a great vacation. But one day we turn up and make that shit a bottle share. We like get one of the private event centers and everything and just turn up on the beach.
Where was the last location that you guys had it at?
The last one that we did was in Riviera Maya, Mexico. That was last year. We had it planned again for Cancun in Mexico this year, but then COVID ruined those plans. But we're looking to do Italy. We did Italy 2 years ago. And we're actually looking at Jamaica. Like, there's a pretty dope adults only all-inclusive resort that just opened up in Jamaica that we want to check out. But I mean, we're open to anywhere. We kind of just opening the group up to everybody who wants to vote. We have a Facebook group with like 10,000 followers, and we kind of just do a poll of where everybody wants to go. And then that's where we set up the whole package plan. And the cool thing with us, is what we have, or what I have as being a travel agent, is just we have like, I call it layaway travel. So you don't have to pay for everything up front. All you need is a $100 or $200 deposit, and then you pay your trip off over time. You just have to make sure that your trip is paid off 100% 30 days before travel. So that don't put people in a bind, you know, in case they ain't got it like that right now, but I still want to go, but I can pay you over 6 months. Boom, you good. And now it's all included. It covers your flight, your transportation from the hotel to the resort back to the airport, all that, like everything's all covered 100%. Yeah.
Rob, didn't Erica want to do Italy or somewhere like that for her for 40th or something? I can't remember. I thought she picked Europe somewhere.
Hey, Italy dope. Italy's got an amazing beer scene. Beer and food is popping in Italy right now.
They love black women.
I don't know right now. Yeah, ain't no black women.
That's what I know about.
Barb said they love black people.
They love. You said black women or blacks in general?
I just know they love black women. All I know is when I was there, and it's funny. The random men were hitting on me as I'm standing next to my husband.
Right. They don't care.
They don't care. They're totally like,
hey.
Oh, yeah.
Be her friend. We don't know.
They got a little bit of Atlanta in them. That's all. They got a little bit of Atlanta in them in Italy. Atlanta don't care.
They ain't ready for that.
There's a lot of
how many people go to your international beer things, Shannon?
On average, it's probably about 20 to 25 people.
Okay.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
This isn't like an eyes wide shut situation, is it?
Nah, none of that. We do make it. We do make it.
The mask on.
We do make it couples for events because some people may get nervous. I'm traveling by myself. I don't know nobody. So we really promote it as like a couples thing or a pair thing, like if it's two women, two men, or whatever, or friends. But we try to do it as like a pair of twos because at the end of the day, like the bottle share is just one night. The rest of the trip is like, kind of do your thing, explore, be on the beach, eat the restaurants, do all that. And we don't want anybody to feel like they're there by themselves and they don't know anybody, a third wheel. So we promote it that way. But obviously, if someone do book and they're like alone, we take the opportunity, like you hang out with us as the host. Because we don't want to host you and tell you to come do something and you feel like, oh shit, like I just did this, I put $2,000 in there and it doesn't work. Like nobody's talking to me. Like we ain't gonna do it like that. So you're gonna feel very welcome and included all the way through.
That's what's up.
Well, you know it.
Well, not
included. Barb is gonna be.
But in the public sense.
So we gonna make you feel alone. Come here, come with us.
That's what I was thinking. Make you feel alone.
Right.
That's only when they go to the hedonism resort. That's where it's going.
Yo, count me out. Ain't nobody sharing shit over here.
Yeah, we're like, hey, this ain't what I signed up for. What's going on around here?
Sharing more beer around here.
I don't know.
Yeah, now I'm in Mexico. I gotta stay in my room the whole trip because y'all tripping.
Right.
That's funny.
I was just trying to get the nitty gritty of full product description. That's all.
It's fun. It's always a good time. We always invite anybody. It don't matter if you're a novice, beginner in craft beer. I bring a lot of beer to these things, so it's like you don't even necessarily have to bring anything, but we are going to have one little bottle share night.
So,
introduction to beer.
So to that point, the question I have, Shannon, you said you bring a lot, like, travel internationally, there's limits to what you can bring in and out. Like, how do you make that process work to transport all the beer and what's the
trade secret?
So you could travel anywhere with beer as long as it's in your suitcase and you check that bag. You can do it as a carry-on. A lot of places around the world will let you bring unlimited. So when we do like the international bottle share, I usually check 2 suitcases. Like I got my suitcase with my clothes, bathing suits, all that shit. And then I have one suitcase that's just full of beer. I mean, there is nothing in that suitcase but beer, and it makes it every single time. Okay. So as long as you check the bag, you good. It's different when you do a cruise ship. Cruise ships don't allow you to bring outside alcohol and all of that. But I hate cruise ships. I don't do cruise ship shit. I do resort. I like to be on land.
Yeah,
I like to use my feet.
Me too.
Yeah,
Me too.
I get it. Wasn't no black people on the Titanic. I ain't trying to.
There were. They just died.
Just lost in history. That's how they do it, man.
I actually read about that. There were quite a few that were under in stowage or whatever when you do like the coal shoveling and stuff like that. There were people down there, but they didn't. They don't come up here and try to get on the boats.
Right.
Yeah, they probably were dead before the boat sank. They probably died hours before.
Oh, probably. Yeah, they didn't care.
If they were at the bottom, then they were pretty. And if they weren't,
they were submerged.
Yeah. All right. All right.
I want to be a part of
this. For our remarkable guest. Any more questions for our remarkable guest?
No, other than just feedback. You both are easy to talk to. Great. Great talking to you guys. I think this relationship that we started on the podcast, at least, and Rob reaching out to you guys is the start of something great. You guys are, we definitely support you guys. I can speak for the guys.
Thank you for reaching out, Rob. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Sorry I wasn't that communicative on everything, but we worked it out. I know Rob was nervous, like, hey man, you gonna be on this or not? Like, come on.
Look, there's a rule that happens behind the scenes, Shannon, and I'll give you a little hit on this.
You're supposed to tell stuff that happened behind the scenes.
Yeah.
That's why they're behind the scenes.
I want to hear.
Look, they're on here now. Look, after a certain amount of attempts, the podcast members will discard you, but I pick up the slack. I'm like, okay, are you coming on? Now my fellow brothers then reach out to you now. Now I'm gonna be the savior and try to bring you back on. So
we like the hell with that.
Too much, they give up. They will give up.
No, see, it was only one time. It was only one time. But it was just the follow up. The follow up was the thing that it was. But he followed up quickly. So he's here. He did what he gave him the picture.
Hey, sorry, I just got a lot of things going on right now.
He's so busy.
Right. He had a travel agent hat on, and you was calling and talking to him about Brew.
I think what happens is that it makes it worse because like a lot of them were through DMs on Instagram, and when you see that scene, like I know you read my damn message.
Right.
So well, how come you haven't responded? What's going on in your life?
My DMs be on fire, especially announcing that I'm open to Brew. It's like all I get is just like, "Are you open? Where you at? Are you here? You got it?" And it's like it just got to the point like I don't even like. I right now I probably got like at least 75 100 unread.
Wow.
DMs, just like
see,
that's a good problem to have, though.
It is.
That is a good problem.
Things get buried very fast. So we talked 2 weeks ago. I probably got 500 messages since then. So I got to scroll and scroll and scroll to find the message that we had last. Type of thing. It's just it's bad.
Good for you, Shannon.
You know why he said that? I know exactly why he just said that. Because when you go to hit him about that collab, you ain't gonna do it.
That's what I was thinking.
Right, Barb, just start with this clip. Just remember, freeze the moment in time, grab the clip, send it to him right away, and be like, "Oh shit, that's Barb."
You gonna have to keep the same clip because you gonna get lost in the song.
I had 75 to 100 DMs and I didn't even see you, Barb. I know. I got your number, Shannon. I know.
I ain't gonna be y'all like that.
He says that now.
Now before we go, I do have one. Would you rather? Because it was on the agenda, on the rundown. So the would you rather would be: would you rather get a face tattoo of something of your choosing, or a tattoo in a discrete area chosen by someone else?
Oh,
a face tattoo of your choice, or a discrete tattoo of a choice of someone else.
I think
a discreet one.
Discreet one. Yeah,
I gotta do the discreet one.
Yeah.
On your face.
I'm not.
I don't want a face tattoo.
No,
I don't care what it is.
I don't want anything on the moneymaker.
I'm going with the tribal art of like Mike Tyson.
See, y'all see, that's the bad thing. That's bad thinking. I'm just gonna get a tattoo of a mole. Bam! Y'all got crazy stuff on your back.
I was gonna say like a little tear, the little tear dot, like the little gang things.
But see, it said a tattoo of what you want. I don't want a mole.
Right, but
well, yeah, that's what actually I already have a mole, and I don't think I want to make it bigger. So then I'll look like a witch. So just
women tattoo their eyebrows on.
Right, but it says
they tattoo their eyebrows all the time.
Yeah,
I didn't think about that.
Area, but somebody's
right.
always going to see that discreet area though, and you don't know what that tattoo is.
Yeah, I'm going with this tattoo of my choice.
Somebody's going to see it.
But you can hide that forever. So
but I wouldn't feel comfortable if they was like, "Yeah, you got to get a tattoo of a penis on your back thigh." I'm like,
Oh, and that's what it's going to be. That's going to be.
Yeah,
they're going to humiliate you if they get the.
Well, if you can pick the discreet place. Like I'd go, okay, put the tattoo right inside my butt cheek. No one will see that.
Right. That's how I get hurt.
Other than you and this, nothing but the toilet paper is gonna see that.
That sounds like a lot of pain, though.
Rag and the toilet paper. That's it.
Ew,
Yeah,
you would let somebody tattoo a penis?
Hey, it's you guys asking the questions. I'm giving the answers.
Right. Don't let Yoda pick the tattoo because you know what he's gonna pick.
That's funny. That's bad. That was a hard one.
Yeah. All right. Well, I want to thank our guests, Shannon and Barb, for coming on the podcast.
Yes, sir. We
glad you're
appreciate you.
on, Barb. And are you on your second one? Oh yeah, Shannon's on his second.
Yeah, I'm on my second one.
Yeah.
Second of like 10 today.
Oh,
second of like 10. So he just getting started.
I usually binge drink on Sundays.
Good.
Unfortunately.
We should have made this at 7 o'clock. You might be like, oh.
It was like, yep.
Yeah, at 7 o'clock, y'all was like, hey, we had another guest, but he never joined on.
Lydia told us about that Eyes Wide Shut party. Heard the real thing.
You would have got the real answer,
Hedonism in the carnival or in Brazil. I know when the beer festival.
He'd have been on here like, first things first, fuck the community. I hate them.
Would have been a different podcast.
What they ever do for me?
Right.
Hit 'em up style.
But before we always leave, we like to know how people can find you on these World Wide Webs, IG, websites, whatever. So we can start with you, Barb. How can people find you?
I am at Siren of Stout on everything. So SirenofStout.com, that is my website. And then Twitter, Siren of Stout, Instagram, Siren of Stout, Facebook, Siren of Stout. I like to use the KISS method to keep it simple, silly. So Siren of Stout on everything. So find me, buy a shirt, just come by and yell at me.
Ask about me.
Sounds good.
Right? Ask about
me. Shannon?
You can find the BrewBrotha on everything. That's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. If you do want to follow the journey, the brewery is Urban Jungle Brew on Instagram. That's kind of where we're putting everything out. And then we also do have a Facebook page, or you can just simply go to urbanjunglebrew.com.
Okay. And for everyone following him, follow me.
There you go.
Vice versa.
I know stuff. All the people I know are probably already following you. So you're the one with the 30,000 people.
Yeah. All Barb friends looking for commercial properties, traveling advice.
Equestrian, horse ride, like everything. He can do all of it.
Okay, yeah, because he's a farmer, a real estate agent, a travel agent, a brewer. It's a lot of hats.
I too am a farmer. I just grew tomatoes and cantaloupe in my backyard. So there you go, Shannon.
Oh yeah, that's why you got to be a part of it.
Do you got lettuce? Do you have cucumbers?
I do not have lettuce.
You can't even make a salad.
Have you ever grown a squash?
What you gonna do when you need a salad, huh?
Well, some cantaloupe.
Where can they find you at?
You can find Devin Aaron the Great on Instagram, Devin Aaron _the_great.
Word.
And
you can find me on Instagram at 302 Yoda and on Instagram and Facebook at Delaware on Grind.
Nice.
And you can find Brews and Banter Podcast at Bruising Banter Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can watch this on YouTube and Facebook. And you can also say, Alexa, play Brews and Banter Podcast, because we are on Amazon Music. And if you want to follow me, Rob Stay Bruising.
There he is.
Every time. How did this happen?
There it is.
Right there.
Yeah, oh man. He can never remember it. Like, it's terrible.
As always, rate and review. Or smash that like button. As they say, the kids say, smash that like button on YouTube. This has been episode 96. 6. Until next time.
6, baby.
Peace.
Enjoyed you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Oh, then we going out with a banger. Oh.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, rest in peace.
Hey, rest in peace, Shawty Low.
Yeah, Alex Trebek. We lost Alex Trebek today.
Damn.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Rest in peace, King Vaughn.
Hey, King Vaughn, rest in peace. Yeah.
Alex Trebek.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Shout out
Alex
to
Trebek
we
died
ain't even
today.
shout Biggie Smalls out for linking it to the